Welcome back to my channel, my little angel pups. Today we are working on part 3 of our Get Rich Wolvden series. This is the intermediate methods of getting cones, so silver cones and gold cones. Let's start with the requirements for this level. First of all, you're going to want to use the beginner tutorial to earn yourself some cones to start off with. I recommend at least 20 gold cones and 3,000 silver cones. It can be hard to save this much when you've just started, but if you can stop spending for a few days, it can easily add up. Next up, you'll want to work on leveling your lead. You should get it to level 10 because there's a few things in the game you can't access before that. This includes trophies and chased wolves, which will be a huge part in making your gold cones. Now let's go to our first strategy. As I mentioned earlier, your biggest moneymaker will be chased wolves. These are wolves that you will rarely encounter when exploring. I'm going to look for some wolves for a while, and I'll jump cut back here when I find a chased wolf. So I spent about 5 energy bars looking for chased wolf, and it was a complete failure. They are very rare finds, which is why they're so valuable. Instead, I got you some images of what new befriended wolves that are chased look like. As you can see at the top, there's a purple shooting star. This is the chased new befriended wolf symbol. And as you can see, there's a pretty plain wolf here. This is likely what we call a rechase, a normal wolf that was chased and now we're finding it again. We go here, you can see an example of a little bit better wolf. This wolf has an aurora marking. It's fancier than the other wolf and it might sell for a little bit of gold cones, but not a lot. Finally, we have a really good wolf. It's got some cool markings. As you can see, it has Merle and it has Moonlit Aurora as well. You can befriend these wolves like any other wolf. Down here, we can explore the options. If you have this skill tree personality, you'll be able to see their personality right away, and that'll make befriending them much easier. Down here, we have attack, which you do not want to click if you're trying to befriend it. Same with leave. Do not click leave. And finally, we have auto friend, and you won't be able to access your hoard. So it's important to keep 5 gold cones on you at all times. If you think it's a valuable wolf and you get less than 10 arrows, you want to auto friend. Now, it's hard to tell what's valuable. You can ask your friends or people in Discord servers, but you won't have access to the forums or chatterbox while you're trying to tame this wolf. If you have all 10 arrows, you can howl, and it's a guaranteed chance. Now, the display personality skill comes in handy, because if you know the personality, you can click the right options every single time and always get 10 arrows. Here's a chart with all the personality options. Another really important tip is that if you hit a correct option the first time, keep clicking that exact same spot. So if you click where it says sniff glands and you get +3, click there 3 times in a row. Once you have a new befriended wolf that you think is of value and you've tamed it, you can look in its description to double check. As you can see, this is a tier 3, so this is always of value from a new befriended wolf. Same with special bases. Markings can be hit or miss. Some markings are valuable for a little bit of time and then they become common and they might become less valuable over time. Here are some markings that are currently kind of valuable if you see them on new befriended wolves. But please remember this list is going to change with the wolf economy. Raffle eyes are always of value. If you see raffle eyes, you can get around 20 to 30 gold cones, so it's worth taming them. If you want to try and figure out how much your wolf is worth, there's a few options. The first is any Discord groups you're in. You can generally ask other members questions, and there might be a price check channel. If you scroll down to stockpile, you'll see price checks. You can open this forum and post that you need a price check, and more experienced members will come in and give you an idea of what your wolf is worth. Finally, you can try searching for similar wolves on the trading center. We're going to want to put exactly generation 1 because your wolf is generation 1. Next, we're going to want to put in its main defining feature. This might be the base or a marking or its eyes. We're going to try looking up smoke eyes. So these are all the chased wolves with smoke eyes. As you can see, the price varies wildly depending if it has multiple features or it only has that one special feature. It'll also vary based on age. So as you can see, this top result is only 10 GC, but it's a very old wolf. Your wolf is worth more money when it's young. ideally 1 year to 2 years old. Another tip you have to remember is do not breed this wolf. As soon as you breed the wolf, it is bred and it cannot be sex changed. Therefore, the value of it will highly drop. Trophies are another element that you can't reach until you're level 10. We're on the Grouse House guide, and you can see they list every single animal with all the trophies you can get from them. Now, these trophies are also rare drops, so if you want to get more trophies, I recommend using this skill tree option. As you can see, there's lots of different trophies you can get. The scarred Decors aren't too valuable, but the other trophies can range in value from 1 gold cone to 50 gold cones, depending how needed it is. An item might be worth nothing, and then suddenly a new recipe requires it, and the item is worth a ton of gold cones. Same can be said for items that are worth a lot, but over time people need them less and they decrease in value. So far, the most valuable items seem to be badger pelts, red fox pelts, and elk antlers. In the future, these might become less valuable. I'll link this guide in the description so you can see what kind of trophies you need from what kind of animals. Another thing you can do once you're level 10 is enter the weekly stud. This is a rare Raffle stud with special markings. As you can see, this one has smoke eyes, which is Raffle exclusive, white inverted possum, which is a pretty rare NBW marking, black wings, black manicou, and other really rare markings. You'll want to enter the raffle each week by scrolling down, and he will ask you for a certain type of item. This week was food, but some weeks he will ask for medicine or other kinds of items. You just give him one of the items and you're entered in the raffle. If you win the raffle, you will get a message in your notifications and you'll get a week to breed with him. One of the biggest tips I have is to move your pack. As you can see, these are all the numbers of packs in each biome. These top 3 biomes are the starter biomes, so it has the most wolves in them. But these bottom biomes barely have any wolves in them. Once you're a bit farther in the game, it can be a really smart move to move to one of these less used packs. That way, you can sell them exclusive raccoon wares items for tips. So this item below, Indiana Cornfield, is 1,000 silver cones. It's only available in Prairie, where I am. So I buy this item for 1,000 silver cones and I sell it to someone for 1,100 or 1,200 silver cones. That way I'm making a profit. Another thing with exclusives is the lunar shop. So as you can see, we have Lunar Prairie, which is an exclusive lunar background. The biomes where a lot of people live, there's going to be more of these items and they're going to go for less value. But if you move to a rare biome like rainforest or glacier, you'll be able to buy these rarer items. To move your biome, you're going to want to go to the Snake Quest screen. You have to scroll down to the bottom and there's an option to move your pack. You select where you want to move your pack and click Take Biome Move Quest. So according to the Grouse House guide, you'll need to defeat wolves when you want to move your pack. It'll tell you how many wolves you need to kill in that area. The number depends on the amount of pack adults in your pack right now. This is the formula. It is adult wolves -1 divided by 4 plus 2. So I'll quickly put up some calculations about how many wolves you'll need to defeat. Now, last video we talked about selling your event currency to other users. This video we're going to talk about how to sell your items. As you can see at the bottom of the shop are the applicators. The eye applicator will change every month, while the claw, nose, skin, and these 2 applicators will change every 2 months. After that, they're pretty hard to get a hold of, and you'll have to wait for a special lunar festival to get all the previous applicators. You can buy any of these applicators and sell them on the trading center using the techniques we discussed in video 1 to find the best price. Now, this is a bit riskier than selling your LT because if it's a really unpopular base, no one's going to want to buy it. But if it's a really popular base, people will be paying a lot more for the base than someone would who's just buying your LT. Applicators can also take a little bit to sell, where selling your LT to someone is instantaneous. I can't really tell you which of these is the best to sell because it can fluctuate so much every month. All I can say is do your research. Now that you've saved a little bit of SC, it might be worth trying the slot machine. Like I said before, you'll never make back as much SC as you spent, but there are some cool items that you can win that are better than SC. Some of these items can be worth up to 40 GC. It's a good way to turn your SCs into GCs. This bottom row is mostly just junk stuff, although there are two types of amusement, which can help if you have a clan with low amusement. Now the medium tier is a bit better. This is a breeding item. This is a cure for all. But this item right here is called the Black Sage, and it guarantees 4 puppies in any litter. While prices could change, these generally go for around 5 GC. If you win high reward, it's even better. An RMA is worth 2 to 3 GC. A Guarana is worth 4 to 5 GC. And this is the Blue Sage, which guarantees 5 puppies in a litter. These generally go for around 20 GC. Finally, down here, we have jellyfish, which can be sold for around 8 to 9 GC. And we have the white sage, which guarantees 6 puppies in a litter. This generally goes for 40 GC. I wouldn't recommend spending all your SC on the slot machine. You want to keep a good amount saved and keep saving. But to do this a few times a day in hopes of getting something good, you never know when you're going to get something awesome. Now, your puppies might be getting a little bit better to sell. If they aren't, that's okay. You're still learning about Wolvden trends and what's new and exciting. A good way to learn about what people are looking for is going to the Wanted Wolves subforum. Here people post ads about any wolves they might be looking for. Now this could be as simple as I'm buying NBWs, or it can be as complicated as I want a Gen 1 Pyro with red cougar and purple eyes. You probably won't have that on hand, but if you read, you can get an idea of things you might be able to breed. So I just recommend browsing this forum every so often. I wouldn't go past the first page because those posts are pretty old, but it doesn't hurt to refresh once in a while and just take a look. If you think your puppies are of some value and you want to find them good homes, raffles can be a great way. Now, don't expect a lot of big entries, but you can set a raffle for 1 silver cone each, and people might buy 10 silver cones. After a week or so, you might earn about 50 to 100 silver cones with this method. In a similar vein, you can do junk raffles. Now you can see they still have SC and GC entries, but you can also enter with a bunch of junk. These are items that are of really little value, but can still help you, like healing salves, lucky foots, feathers and remnants for nests, and items to make healing salves. If you do small items like these, people generally have them on hand and don't mind dropping a few into your raffle. Another option for artists is to design custom decors. Now, I'm not an artist that does custom decors, so I can only rely on things I've heard. But this process can be a little bit complicated and frustrating, as you need to figure art perfectly to the Wolvden style. There's a lot of rules to do this, but if you can stick to the style, you can make so much passive income off this. As you can see, there's some decors that have sold hundreds, and this decor cost a good amount. 5 GC will go back into the game. But let's say this artist sold 419 at the price of 15 each. That means she's made almost 4,100 gold cones. Now you can set the prices of your decor as long as it's over 5 gold cones, and you'll get the difference. The only thing is that the custom decor creator costs 10 gold cones, so it is a little bit of an investment. But when your decor gets approved, you'll get 3 copies of it. That means you can sell these 3 copies to make back the GC. Honestly, this is one of my favorite methods of making gold cones, and I wish I was able to make them myself, because even if you're inactive in the site for a few months, let's say you didn't log in, and suddenly you log in, you're going to get all the money from the sales over the last few months. You weren't even playing the game, and you could come back to a couple hundred GC. It's just really worth a try if you're a digital artist who has experience with small items like this. Finally, I'm going to teach you one of the most complicated but easy methods to make GCs. I'm going to sound a little crazy here and you might get a little confused, but I'm going to do my best to explain it. So this method is called flipping GCs. To start, you're going to want to create a trade, but first we need to search to see what we're doing. we're going to type GC for SC, something we've done in earlier tutorials. And we want the buyout to be an SC. So we're going to type 500 SC and click apply. We want to filter by the lowest SC. As we can see, is 360 SC. This is the lowest you can buy a GC for. In another window, we're going to do something similar. We're going to search SC for GC again, but this time we're going to put 1 GC buyout, and we're going to click apply. Now we want the highest amount of SC, because if you're going to sell your GC, you want as much SC as possible. So we're going to take a quick look at these rates. So you can buy 1 GC for 360 SC, or you can sell 1 GC for 307 SC. Now you'll notice there's a bit of difference in these prices. That's because users are flipping their GC to make currency. So the idea is you buy 1 GC for a cheaper price, and we're going to sell it back to someone for a higher price. By doing this, we're going to open a trade in the Trading Center. And you're going to type SC for GC. If you're doing a trade with more than 1 GC in it, you might want to put the rate, but we're just going to do a single GC for now to keep it as simple as possible. You're going to want to put 1 GC in the trade. Then you're going to want to find the prices we found below. As you can see, you can buy it out for 360. We want to beat that price by a tiny bit. So 1 SC, maybe 5 SC, but I would never go above 5 SC because you might break the trading rates in the game. We're going to type 559. Keep it buyout only and public. Then you want to click Create Trade. Let's say your trade has sold. You have received all that SC. Now you want to buy a new GC. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to post SC for GC. We are going to enter a tiny bit higher than this trade right here. Once again, you don't want to go more than 1 to 5 SC over. We would theoretically type 308, and we would put the buyout as 1 GC. Then we would click Create Trade and click OK. Now, if you did it correctly, you just made around 50 SC. It might not be a lot for one trade, but if you keep doing this over and over and over throughout the day, you can earn more and more SC. After about 7 trades, you'll have enough to buy a second GC, and eventually you're trading with 2 different trades going at once. Or you could pocket that extra GC. So every 7 trades, you've made a new GC. Similar to GC flipping is item flipping. What we want to do, instead of flipping currency, we're going to be flipping a little bit of currency and popular items. So what you'd want to do is pick a particular item that's of value, but very low value. Lucky Foots can be a good example of this. As you can see, 1 Lucky Foot price is 80 SC right now, but we can get a lot more Lucky Foots for 1 GC as users want to get GCs over SC. So we're going to type looking for Lucky Foots. We're going to put 1 GC in the trade. We're going to attempt to trade our 1 GC for 6 or 7 Lucky Foots. Let's put 7. We're going to uncheck buyout only and enter what we want. Please offer 7 Lucky Foots. You will have to bump it every so often, but eventually someone will give you 7 Lucky Foots. Once you have those 7 Lucky Foots, you're going to sell them for 1 or 2 SC under the lowest price. Now, if we do our calculations, 7 Lucky Foots times 79 SC, that would be 553 SC. What you can then do is buy 1 GC with it again, which we went over in the Navigating the Trading Center video. At current market rates, it would cost around 310. So we can take 553 minus 310, and flipping these Lucky Foots would make us 240 SC. Finally, I'll be talking about some rules I designed. These rules aren't site rules, but I find they will guide you and make you earn the most possible GC when trading. Rule 1. Don't be lazy. It can be very tempting to just throw your items on the Trading Center without checking the prices for them. Overpriced items will not sell, while underpriced items will sell insanely quickly because they might relist the item for a higher price and make profit off of your laziness. You'll also want to title your trades properly. I'll link a guide in the description with how to title your trades and some common phrases used on the training center. But generally, you'll want to put whatever the value is in your trade title. If it's an item, put the item name. If it's a wolf, put its base, the amount of markings, and anything special about it. If you put a title like just stuff or items, people won't be able to easily find your trades when searching. Also keep in mind that if you throw a bunch of items in a trade, people are more likely to expect a bargain. You'll always make more money listing items one at a time than you would in a bulk trade. The next tip is don't be afraid. Most players will have their messages open, and as long as you are kind and courteous, they don't mind a message here and then. If they just bought one of your items that's common, say a mustelid claw, and you have more mustelid claws, it doesn't hurt to message them back and say, hey, I have more of this item. Would you be interested in them for the same price? This can also work for biome exclusives. If they're buying an item from you from the prairie, they might want more prairie items. Also, don't be afraid to go and ask for price checks like I mentioned earlier. People are there to help. Even if you're nervous around other people, there's plenty of people that have been playing the game a long time and they just want to help out. The third and final tip is don't be greedy. There are times where you should consider negotiating on your prices. Say you have a chased new befriended wolf listed for 100 gold cones and someone offers 80 gold cones. This is an okay price in comparison, and I would highly consider taking that myself. Otherwise, the wolf just might sit there for weeks and depreciate in value. Negotiating cheaper prices might also help you make connections on the game. Say someone wants to buy every single lucky foot you get for 75 SC. It's lower than the current price, but this is much easier because you could just send them a trade every time and they'll buy the lucky feet right away. These connections are golden in Wolvden. Some of my best trades are from connections that I've made. Finally, I mentioned this in the don't be lazy, but bulk trades go for less if there's a bunch of items in them. While this might not get you the most value, if you have a bunch of items that you don't want, throw them in a bulk trade. A higher end user that wants to take the time to list the items individually might offer you a low price on the items. As long as you think the price is fair enough, it's worth taking. It's a good way to get rid of a bunch of items without waiting for them all to sell. I hope these tips help you a lot because they've definitely guided me in my trading and helped me earn the gold cones I've got today. Like and subscribe because part 4 will be coming out sometime after Halloween. Bye everyone!